And yeah, we're live. Indeed. One more Tuesday. Yes, sunny Tuesday at my side, if I may say like that. And tonight we have a very special guest star. And I was thinking 2 days, how should I introduce him? So I will start like this. I know him around, I think, 15 years, first of all.
Yeah,
I think,
at
yeah.
least.
And in 15 years, I was learning about Windows Server 2008, la, 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 IT this, IT that. And after learning all that stuff around 2017, 18, I got a
Mm.
job in a company where I was working about dynamics. And then the world somehow, do you know this guy? Do you know that guy? Do you know this guy? Do you know? I said, what is happening here? And then I figured out that our tonight guest is a master of disaster for dynamics. So tonight, I would like to welcome Laze. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Well, thank you, Martin. Thank you. Thank you for this Master for Disaster. I should put it in the CV. I don't think it will pass, or maybe it will
Yeah.
be interesting. I don't know what I have done such a
Well,
disastrous job. I
well,
don't know how
if I may be
disastrous it
honest,
is.
everywhere when I started working at Dynamics, I must be honest, and this is also for the people that will look this podcast later. 2017, 18, for as I mentioned, when I started working a little bit more in a company with Dynamics Finance and operations in that period. Everywhere was Laze. He is very good architect. Laze is very good developer. Laze is very good functional consultant. Yeah, Laze knows everything about these dynamics. What is that dynamics and all that stuff? So I think the master is the disaster. Now, when I think about how long you are working dynamics, I think that's a
Oh,
good title for the CV, mate. To be honest with you.
yes, I can make it a really nice title and expectations that they will get from my services.
Nice. How are you, my friend?
I am good. I'm good. I'm much better now. I was very tired. We chatted a little bit. I was in the MVP
Yeah.
Summit a couple of weeks ago, and then last week I was recouping and recatching all of the emails and all of the meetings and all of the chatting, and yeah, with
Very good.
everyone, just trying to catch up. So I think every night I finish like at 12 p.m., like at midnight last week, and this week I'm trying to a little bit calm down and finish only at 8. Like 8, but today you broke it, so today we finished 9 or maybe
Yeah,
10.
yeah, indeed. No, nine something because there is a Champions League, so we need to watch football a little bit, maybe.
By the way, I think you are lying about your location because there is sun. You're probably like in Zanzibar and somewhere. This is
No,
not possible. When it's 9
I
p.m.
wish,
It's
I wish, I wish, I wish I was in Zanzibar indeed. But no, I'm still in Europe, so you don't need to worry. I guarantee on that. I can sign a document if needed and all that stuff, my friend.
so you're just closer to Santa Claus, a little bit more
Indeed,
north.
to Santa Claus, indeed. How was at MVP Summit? It was a lot
It
of
was
announcements. I know you
it
cannot talk for official ones, but how
yeah,
it was
yes.
for you?
Well,
Does it was first time? How was the feeling? If I'm asking that.
actually, it was my first summit, and it was my first year as an MVP. This weekend I just applied for the MVP renewal, all of
Yeah,
that process. It goes, I don't know, a couple of months, I assume, or something like that. It
yeah,
was my first time. I have been to Redmond many times before that. I did some, yeah, I have even done trainings to Microsoft employees in Redmond. That was, I think, one of my biggest achievements that I have done. It was quite a little bit out there. But this was my first time on the MVP Summit, and I aggregated all of the friends and networks that I've seen this conference, that conference, or some like a solution architect bootcamp from Microsoft. And now everyone was not everyone, but a lot of the community was aggregated at the same place at the
yeah,
same time. So it was nice to see. Well, some of the things I think can be even shared. I mean, on that side that I know,
yeah,
because there were 1 week after that, like a Fabric conference happened, so a lot of things were already published.
yeah,
Then some things were now we come to the wave one of this year, so there are again stuff that are already published or unannounced, maybe are not published but
yeah,
are announced. So some of the things are already shared, but some are not. Some are not
yeah.
and are NDA.
That's nice. That's nice. But in total, the first experience on the MVP Summit, a lot of networking and all that stuff went quite okay, if I may say like that,
Yes,
and quite
yes.
nice.
I met some of my like heroes or people that I've worked like as you know virtually for a
Yeah.
very long time, like product group owners like Mike Eichenberg, Jeannie I met, with some other people. Shiva, I have never met them, or Melinda, who is the fabric manager, where I did a lot of testing on that technology. It was very interesting for me. And now I met them first time in person. It was, I think, a very great experience for all of us to make even a further bond, for further
Yeah.
collaboration. Did you follow up anything online? Did you try to?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
following a lot online, to be honest, because everything was, how it says, after working hours, 6 p.m., 7 p.m. for
Yeah.
Europe. So it was quite a lot interesting topics, to be honest. But you watch that and you cannot even say that anywhere. So you just keep for yourself and say, okay, that's good, that is coming. You cannot share, you cannot talk with someone if. Especially with people that are not MVP and all that stuff. Yeah, with MVP people, you can discuss and all that stuff, but not loud there, if I may call like that, or write a blog post or discuss on podcast. It was not possible, but it was quite interesting. Also, a lot of sessions, basically all of them were delivered online, and it can be rewatched and all that stuff. So that was the easier, if I may say like that. You're just sitting on the desk and on one monitor, you put the video from the MVP summit. You feel like in Redmond. Is it me or Laze stuck a little bit? He will rejoin. Indeed. Internet. Everything can happen. I suppose Laze activated some AI dynamics agent, and that agent make troubles. So let's see. Let's see what it will happen. So we are expecting he to come back, of course, and all that stuff. That is happening when you start talking about NDA, about this, about that, and all that stuff. Let's see. And we are back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I think
when you activate Fabric AI agent, that is happening.
This is. I feel very embarrassed. I'm sorry.
No,
I don't know what happened.
No,
I
you
just
don't need
dropped
to.
the Wi-Fi.
Don't worry.
All right. Sorry. Let's continue.
No. Yeah.
Sorry.
No worry. The first question that I have for you: how, for example, if I'm 18 years old, if I may call it that, and now I'm asking you, Laze, I want really to become knowledgeable in dynamics, in fabric, in all that stuff. How you focus on that technology as an 18-year-old, if I may call like that, for example, just finished high school, university, because again, I really see you as a master of disaster for dynamics. I mean, on positive side, mate, I must be honest with you. And I'm just asking and thinking loud with you now. I don't have license for now it's easier, but in your time was quite difficult to get even to learn that technology. I must be honest. And I'm curious to know how Laze started learning, how he was doing all that stuff, especially with dynamics. It's quite complex. And we're coming, basically, we are born and raised in the same country with Laze. So we know what type of technology is usually working. Dynamics was not every day, every second company to use Dynamics and all that stuff. So it was quite difficult. So I'm curious just to hear how Laze gained the knowledge for all of this complex ERP system, if I may say like that.
So maybe we start with the history of how I learned. It was, of course, as you know, everything is by accident. You don't make this master plan for a master of disaster. But I was in this company, actually, what I interviewed. So it was, I think, 2008 and 2007 iPhone came up. Oh my God, there was so much hype about the phones. You remember when the iPhone and all of this community, and because you love technology, all life, it says that. Like people are okay in IT. That is what I loved all of my life, computers, technology. And I went to interview into this company and I interviewed like, hey, we are going to need to have like a SQL, a mobile SQL database, like for a phone that you will
Okay.
create this kind of website. Oh my God, this is amazing. I love this. Yeah, I'll go there. You're hired. I start, and the second they say, okay, you are not going to do that. Actually, what you're going to do is this. And they give me the book, which is 1,000 pages about Dynamics Axapta. It was called that Dynamics. It was called Axapta 4.0. It's like, what the hell is this? And there was, I think, 200 pages just on instruction how you can install it, how to learn it, how it was difficult. As you shared, it was so much difficult to gain any information, meaning information like learning information, either developer or a consultant or a functional knowledge. You had to be in a partner who is a partner, Microsoft partner, who is specialized in that technology. So you have this chicken and the egg problem a little bit, How do you become partner if you don't have a, but the partners had some privilege, so you can subscribe to be a partner and still have not built up your company, so you can get some materials. But after a while, you need to prove that you're, contributing to that community or that you're doing business after, or they will kick you out. That was in that time. So the people that I worked for actually were partners. They were building a product actually, an ISV directly in Dynamics. I hated it so much. Oh my God, I hated it so much from my bottom of my heart. I yelled at it because you came from this .NET world, and if you remember, like in Visual Studio, you type everything, you have a library, you have your assembly, you press dot and you have like IntelliSense, so everything shows up, all of the possible methods. We did not have that in Dynamics. That doesn't exist at that time. There was nothing, like literally. You search for something, oh, I received an error, you search on Google, and Google said, what? What do you mean? There was nothing, there were no blogs. After that, the community started to develop. So it was very difficult. And that's why it was also very difficult to troubleshoot, because you just need to sit and figure it out. Sometimes decompile some code, just figure it out, and testing a lot of stuff and figure it out issue. Now it is a little bit more democratic. I think it is more easier. You have the Learn, you have the docs page. On the Learn portal, you don't even have to have a license. So if you want to test, either you're a technical or a functional person, you have your questions, of course, material that you learn. But in order to test something like physically executable, when you click something, Microsoft in the background will execute, they will start a VM. It's not a VM, it's a service. So they will start an environment for you where you can execute those activities that you would like. Of course, that is like a 6 or 8 hours. After that is crashing, the resources are consumed again. But you have time to actually test stuff. That is not ideal, of course, for a long-term learning, but it's much, much better than what it was. And I think it's even better than some competitions in the ERP. So in this ERP world, it's very, very close-tight community. I think people are protecting their also IP, how their functionality works. So it's very undergated knowledge base of how you can do activities, how you can consume, how you can customize. They're very protected, but it's in Dynamics, it is much more democratic, and that's good. I was actually approached by, so in February, 1.5 months ago, I organized the first Dynamics user group in Macedonia. So we were at Finki, which you remember our college, and our teacher from our head, like Boro Jakimovski, who is a dean now at the university, who helps out. So we created this, I created one of the organizers, so we created this very nice community, Saturday, all day, everyone from the country who has done Dynamics 365, ERP, CRM, Power Platform, Power BI, Microsoft Fabric, students, everyone was invited. There were 120 people. There were more than 200 that subscribed, but because this was 15th of February, so after 14 was Valentine, and you know what else in our country. So, a lot of people were under influence still. Some did not show up or were too lazy, but there were some people that reached out after me during there and after the session. Hey, I know about this. I've seen it online. Now I've seen it in person. How can I get more access? How can I get more information? Can you coach me? And because so I have like a company, I have my own licenses and own environments, but also as part of the MVP, we got some licenses. So I have some resources that I share. I've created some accounts for these people. share some knowledge, and give them like a mentorship of how they can. So now they have 24/7 access to a dynamics environment with demo data, of course,
Yeah,
which they can use, consume, and freely ask questions. And I think this is where they can continue
gain
developing their
knowledge.
knowledge.
Maybe
Because
just as an idea, I'm just thinking loud. I'm not sure how it works. Maybe because they're students, maybe you can connect. I don't know how it's the how it's called, the MVP lead for you, so you can discuss with the lady. I think it's a Spanish lady, if I remember good, Christine,
yes,
something like
it
that.
was it was changed recently. It was another guy, but
Okay.
it was changed. Yes, yes.
Yeah, so
There was
maybe
some
you
switch.
can, yeah, because I got a request last year from mine, if I may call like that, or from Tina, it's mine basically, and we discussed, and she said, yeah, we are quite open for student ambassadors. So maybe you can check, because as a student ambassador, they can get, I think, some license and all that stuff. So maybe just as an idea for those people that are interested.
Well, I actually want to do something. I don't know if I should, but I discussed also with the dean and with the pro dean. Maybe we can even create further, like a
Oh,
full course in the university to be one of these. It doesn't have to be the ERP, but it can be
yeah, yeah,
like the power platform, the Dataverse. It's a very low code, no code
indeed.
mentality. It is a very, very powerful thing, and it can be. I just figured out from an MVP colleague from Microsoft, Justin, who shared some information with me on some of the colleges in America. The introduction training, the courses like
Yeah,
MB920, I
yeah.
think, or something like that. The numbers for everyone. They
Yeah.
are actually recognized as courses, as credits in America. So you can take them, and they're like 3-4 credits, which
Wow.
you advance in your university. And even Microsoft didn't know. Even they didn't know. It's like, what? How this came up. So
Wow.
this is and that is a very basic training, honestly. That is a very, very basic. So the people that I'm trying to guide are much more advanced. This is like a consultant, a finance
Yeah, yeah.
consultant, a supply chain consultant, because these people have, they come from industry. So they know the business, let's say, they know the know-how. And the dynamics is just a tool. It's just one of the tools. Of course, when you deep dive, it's much more complexity than that. But they need to understand how they can transfer their knowledge in the problematic, right, in their area, to
Okay.
transfer it to this tool, and how to improve
Yeah.
maybe the tool and satisfy the business needs. So that is what I try to achieve. But the students is a different level. They have to go more
Yeah,
deeper.
yeah.
And for Fabric, they need to learn a relational database. I don't think there is anything else. If you don't know how the relational databases work,
Indeed.
it's not. That is the basis of everything, I think, like in Europe.
Indeed. Well, if I may be honest, I think in dynamics it works the same. That you need to
Yeah,
know the
yeah,
relations basically in the
of
background, and
course.
then and all the stuff.
Even
Basically, you need to know SQL
yeah.
in our
Yes,
language.
if you don't know SQL, then it's nothing. So my wife did this transition in technology. She was in bank for 15 years, and like
Yeah.
5, 6 years ago, she moved to an IT company. But she moved that banking experience that she had in the business. So she's now making software for banks. But until that mindset clicked, like how in the background the relation, the database work, that is a challenge. You need some time, and you need to try it. It's not like, hey, I will watch a video on YouTube while I'm on the toilet and I know everything. Like you have a lot of experienced people in any technology,
Indeed,
right?
indeed. For my side was something similar when we discuss about the wives. Indeed, great things to them that they will watch us later on. Yeah, my
Yes.
wife is watching now, so you are, I suppose, either now, either later. So
Where
mine
are the
have this.
kids?
Yeah. So we have the similar transition, basically, also in the banking industry, and now to Power BI, data reporting, and all that stuff.
See,
Yeah, I will watch some videos, this and that, and when I have some licenses as similar like you, and I assign. Yeah, I have no Power BI. Yeah, yeah, you have Power BI. Yeah, yeah. Oh, but this is not like on the video. On my side, it's different. But this is not.
on the video, like, you click, voila, done. In real life, there are no clicks. You need to
Indeed,
create that relationship. You have to
indeed,
understand that relationship yourself, actually.
true,
So, but
true,
yeah, you have to pass through that process, either in
indeed.
college. It doesn't have to be university, of course. Many
Yeah,
people have not even finished university, and they're like amazing in problem solving capabilities. So it's
indeed. Indeed. Do you think now, catching this point with the relations and the fabric and all that stuff, do you think something ever will change dynamics? If I may say, for example, in 5, 10 years from now, do you think that dynamics will stay like it? Yeah, it will have a lot of improvements within the dynamic, but do you think some ERP will come out maybe as a one tool that we a lot of people are talking, and we also Fabricate Power Platform, these two tools, if we connect together, do you think they can bring the same value from the dynamics, the power of the dynamics, if I may call like that?
Well, I don't know if you saw this podcast that Satya Nadella was in December. Very, very podcast. It caused so many waves. So the
Okay.
podcast is in BG2 Pelt, and on
Okay.
technically how they quoted him, he says, SaaS is dead, meaning ERPs are dead. ERP SaaS is dead. Well, what I try to say is because of in the AI, we're moving in this agency, in
Yeah.
the agent level of working, and that agents are going to do your work. I completely agree with that. That is the direction we're going. But
Yeah.
that is not something that is going to happen in a year, maybe not even in 5 years. But for sure, so some of the things are already under NDA. I don't know what I'm saying now, what is already like shared, but there's some stuff. For example, in the dynamics area that I work, this month, by the end of the month, have this way we have released, there will be a lot of agents that are going to be published for preview. I have seen some demos, I have tested
Yeah.
some things. Also, the dynamics experience, for example, there is a new immersive page, which means it will not be this um, form or UI interface where you are going to have this, you have your menu, you have your form, you have your links, but it will
Yeah.
be dynamically generated on the spot, depending on the activities that are happening on your system and depending on your roles into the organization that you're doing, what is more urgent, things will pop up for approval or depression or set them
Yeah.
up or
Yeah.
so those things are already happening. They're on in full swing. There is a wide competition going around. Mark from Salesforce, probably you have seen some videos.
Yeah.
He's a very, very, very loud man, going through media and announcing his sales agents. Some of his things and functionality are already deprecating intentionally, and he purchased them for 250 million. So now he's
Wow.
deprecating them just to give advantage to this new way of business. The whole licensing and model of how we work about the software is going to change technically. So the goal is, as you know now how it is, you need a license,
Yeah.
you need
Yeah.
Office, you need a
Yeah.
license, you have a Copilot, you have a license, you need Dynamics, you have a license. But what does it mean? You can work with that, but in the background, that means something. That is, you're consuming some storage, right? You're doing some
True.
operation. Now you have 3 operations, but I have 1 million operations because I have done something.
True.
Now,
But
how that all is going to change is technically, if there are no users, an agent is doing your work, then how are you billing the user? How do you charge the user for that, right? How
yeah.
do you do that?
But
There are 5 users, but there are 5 accounts that are maybe admins or setups or performance.
yeah.
But in the background, they're doing the job for what was previously 200 people.
True.
Let's
True.
say, let's say.
Yeah, but do you think those agents will bring the power of what dynamics have as a value, if I may call like that? For example, in my view, we have quite one of the most complex systems, if I may call like that, and now we need to split everything in a separate agents. And now thinking cloud with you, that means we need to have around 1,000 agents for dynamics,
Yes,
for the
yes, indeed,
system, for the users, for
indeed.
this, for that.
You
That's
have
how it
seen
looks, you know?
you have seen the code. I mean,
Yeah,
Microsoft, I think they already published publicly that there are more than 1 billion of lines of code now in the Dynamics out of the box experience.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
that it's like you worked for a company that created so much more code, so it's almost very difficult. So it is a transition, and I don't know, is it going to be a one agent or is it going to be an agent that communicates through an agent? How are we going to troubleshoot that? That is still not clear even for me personally. Some of the stuff that I saw are more clear, like the new MCP framework that Microsoft is creating, and then agents that are communicating for other agents. Those stuff I have seen it, but how the whole dynamics is going to be exposed, I'm not sure that. Actually, I do have some internal knowledge which I should not share. That is definitely under
Yeah,
NDA. But what I think they're starting is for particular business case scenario. It's more like an evolution instead of a revolution. So the revolution is more like, hey, you haven't touched this, you haven't even touched the cloud. Believe me, I have customers who have not been to the cloud. They're living in the 90s and 80s in their software, like in ERP software. I mean, they have seen what is Facebook. That, of course, they know what is like a real cloud. But for business, they're still using green screen. Until this moment, they're using green screen. So in their way, if they move them to a SaaS software, so that's Dynamics, that is SAP, that is something like that. That is a mind-blowing. I have seen this. I've been to that transformation. They didn't know what to do. But imagine you're on a cloud now for 10 years, 15 years, and you have not involved anything in AI. You have not done any this AI automation. I mean, of course, you have automation like batch jobs at a schedule. And now you jump directly like 10, 15 years after, and you jump into this world where these agents are already, hey, there's a purchasing agent that is updating automatically purchase order, sales order, sending email, does this communication. Then will be, I think, also a little bit mind-blowing to you. Now you're not thinking about the cloud level. Now you're thinking about, oh my God, this thing is going to kill me, my purchasing manager, my sales manager, or sales crew, or a couple of people. I don't think it will just be a clean cut like Dodge is in America. It's not going to be like that, but it's more about, as we have done in the cloud, you need to adapt. So your role will have to change. You adapt or die. You know how it is. If you do not adapt your role, we have started developing Windows application in 95, in 98, and you're here because you have adapted yourself. You have moved to different things you are learning. If you have stayed on the same path, and believe me, there are people even from our generation, they're still on that path. So even if they come to your level now to work in Azure, it will be a little bit troubleshoot. It will be a little bit difficult. It is a little bit. It is a mindset level of work. So it will be a long transition. 2016, it was when IX went. It was called IX7, the first cloud version.
Okay.
It was not really. It was cloud, but in the background there were like virtual machines doing some activities. Until all of that moved into a real SaaS and near zero time expression, it took us time. It took really a lot of this to decouple stuff, to have multiple services that are coupled. So it really needs, and it's still learning. And to your question, like, do you need 10,000 agents because there are really 10,000 business activities?
Indeed.
It will just need a time. So now they're concentrated, I think, on like 6 or 10 business activities, each business use case. So there's a pricing that is coming, there is supply chain, warehousing, each one is developing their own mindset. But we'll have to wait and see. I cannot say that it will probably take at least 5 to 6 years just to transition to this new level of understanding. And what I can tell you is we're probably even more stronger, but apart from technology, is adapting business users. Oh my God, ERP users are not very say people that want to adapt. You have seen, they don't want to. They don't want to just nope. Literally say nope. I don't want to do this.
Immediately, no.
No. I'm guiding this program for my client for 1 year, and it was in private. Have you heard about this functionality, Copilot for Finance? Have you heard about this thing?
I heard. Sorry.
So there are so many public videos, like even online. But it's very interesting. So it's technically add-in in Outlook and in Excel for now. But you can connect it to your Dynamics or not. But technically, so if you connect to your Dynamics, imagine you have your bank statement or something like that, or travel balance or some revenue realignment recalculation, in the recognized patterns, and it allows you to settle transaction easier and faster, right? So you have your source from your ERP. It can even be SAP, right? So it can be SAP, and you have something that it was sent via email or they send you an Excel, and then it allows you inside to reconcile this transaction, to merge them together, to say, hey, this is paid or this invoice is paid, stuff like that. It automatically recognizes them. So this is good. Like LLMs are good in this kind of recognition of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I did this with the product group in Microsoft. So we did a demo directly for my clients, like specific demos and clients. And there were people from 2 different countries. We're not going to name them. And one of them reached out because she was like a finance manager, and she is already like semi-retired. has a lot of work. She's a very
Yeah.
intelligent woman. She works 3 days a week. She saw this and write me private message. Laze, with this, I can fully retire now. I can give this there. The job that you're doing, and you can maybe rely on that because there's so many manual tasks that are done during the day,
Indeed.
right? And you can improve. And the other set of people, which were from the other country, said, no, we're not going to use this. And they're doing more manual stuff. I'm telling you 100% they're doing much more manual stuff. But that is the mindset I can adopt. Would you like to adopt this? Yes, will it have some licenses? There is some licenses, I don't know, 20 or 30 US dollars per month. But it's replacing a full-time employee. It's not the same, right? It's not.
Indeed.
Even if it's not replacing a person, it will help you to be more productive. You're still working 4 days, just creating, copying, matching, or sending invoices. ERPs have like big corporations. They have a lot of transactions. They have a lot of stuff, and it's very important to be compliant. They have audits, of course, that are sent to them. So it's a very, very boring job that you need to do every day. So if you can automate some of that, it's of course bring some value, I think.
Yeah. If I understand correctly, does that mean that the Copilot for finance can connect with the Dynamics, if I may ask like that? For example, because most of them it's Office 365, if I may call like that.
Yes.
It's about
So the Copilot, so the Outlook add-in can be connected from, because they're in public preview, right? So they're in public preview, and it can be connected with Dynamics. So what it means is that you have Copilot for Finance add-in in Outlook. You receive an email, you can activate, and it will read from Dynamics. It will understand that this is your customer because it will identify via the email address. This is your accountant customer. You can ask some interesting stuff. I have also created some Copilot add-ins for F&O that are directly linked to my Copilot in Finance, and it will recognize. It can pull up your customer statement, what is the credit limit of the customer directly in Outlook, right? So these are cool stuff. And now that is more a question, but in Excel, it was still more in I think in private preview, if I'm correct, to connected with F&O, meaning if you have your Dynamics and it will understand, hey, this is my general ledger, like the finance ledger transactions, and it will pull it for that customer, right? It will, or for that vendor, it will pull this transaction directly in Excel, like open with add-in with Excel. You remember that? And then you have here a manually copied information. You say, oh, this thing actually, no, this matches. This thing matches. And that is something that's cool. But actually, it's coming. Just yesterday, they announced something very cool, which is they announced 2 agents for that interview, which technically you don't even need Excel. So instead of opening this and matching this, what people do is, hey, I have this other thing that I use for finance, or there's a third-party system, or there is a banking system, or there is this kind of system. And as a moment it's dropped like in a SharePoint or someone in OneDrive, the agent will look it up, will do this reconciliation automatically, match it in the ERP, and just tell you, hey, this is done now.
Okay, that's good. I didn't know about this, but I mean, I didn't know. I was, by the way, as MCT, I was teaching this Copilot for marketing, Copilot for finance, Copilot Outlook, Copilot 7. There are 7 exercises.
And for Excel with Python.
Yeah, indeed. But it never came to my mind. And it was 2-3 weeks ago. I was giving this training. It's a 3 days and all that stuff. But it never came to my mind that it can connect with the Dynamics. Then now you remind me that in Dynamics, it's used basically the Microsoft products, if I may say like that,
right.
like
it's
SharePoint, Office, and all that stuff. So everything gets integrated within that. So that's how he recognized, and that's how okay. Now
there will be even what I think. I hope I don't share anything under NDA. But I think they even announced that this is technology agnostic, honestly, like the Copilot and agents, because it doesn't have to be Dynamics. It can be even SAP, right? There's so many. If you imagine, if you go to the Power Platform, there's so many connectors there. So you can connect your SAP, right, to your agent, that it will get your financial data from other ERP and just reconcile with your other stuff. On the end, it's just one information, other information, It needs to understand, hey, this is a customer, or this is the account, or an invoice, that kind of stuff. And if the values match or they're close, you can put thresholds, like plus minus some percentage that it should do the matching or not. Of course, like it is done manually now. It can do it automatically.
Indeed, and based on this is connected with the Office 365 products, if I may say like that,
Sure.
the Copilot. And
Sure,
I remember that the Power Platform got the first Copilot, if I remember good. The first one official was Power Platform.
Well, I think even Business Central, which you probably heard, Business Central is doing quite okay. They have like now a Copilot for sales agent in Business Central, which is maybe even either in preview or in GA. They are very fast. They are very fast. Like BC team is amazing what they do. Because the BC is like on top of the Power Platform, it's on the same architecture level. So you can iterate a little bit more faster. The data is not so complex. You have seen the FNO model. You know how that thing is just it's a disaster. It's not a disaster. It's just very complex. It is what it is. And they have created some agents, but now there is a new agent that it was announced, but now it's at least in a couple of weeks finally in FNO, which is very, I think, interesting for many customers. It's called Supplier Agent. What this thing does is directly in FNO. So what it does is something like people that have in CRM. I work in a big company, so I buy and I sell stuff, right? And I have some margin, right? So my customer orders something, and I say, hey, I need to order this. It comes from somewhere. It comes from China, and then it comes from China. I will receive it on the 20th of April. I have my customs and stuff like that. So you will have it on the 24th. I have my timeline and everything should receive. So your sales order will be processed, and I promise to you, right? I confirm to you that you have your product, your shipment, and warranties and all of that. So you need to pay something. But now what happens is, now we have tariffs. So things change, but also there are carrier symbols. So you have emails that are sending. People that work in purchasing, especially in general purchasing, they have thousands of emails per day, like thousands. It's very difficult for them to grasp. They have so many suppliers around the world that are coming, communicating, this is going to come, or I'm sending you a new price. This is my offer. You're in a competition war. You say, I want to buy this phone or 10,000 from this product, send me from multiple suppliers, you get a new price. It's very difficult to track. But what this will try, it will connect to that. It will analyze, it will see what is the quote, the order, the purchase order, and it will go to Dynamics and automatically update that. So it will say, hey, this order now will not arrive that, and it will not cost this because now I have a new tariff. So you have private source, which is your email, right? Is your email, is your communication, but you have public source, which is, hey, now the customs, it's not 10%, it's 30%. So you need, and it will update the customer, and it will write directly an email to the customer, like a draft, instead of automatically sending. So you can directly send to your customer, hey, here is an update. This will be late. It's not going to be your promised date. I'm updating you, right? So this kind of communication is something that now it will be it is going to be testing in a couple of weeks. So we're going to test like end of April, and I'm so excited for those kind of stuff. Or timesheets. You have entered so many timesheets. That like those things. Now there is an agent and expense management. Oh my God, I cannot wait for that. You take a photo. So in FNO there is an expense management. You can take a photo, and instead of entering one, analyze the whole with the LLM model and just puts it directly in Dynamics. Matches it to the financial transaction. It can import from a credit card, like information, like from Barclays, the bank sends, automatically matches that at everything.
Wow. Well, somehow listening you made, I think a lot of jobs will be for Dynamics, if I may call like that. That's how it looked like. Maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like a lot of
I don't think so, because what happened is that I'm implementing actually the expense management module for a customer, right? Okay. It is what they want to do is because so this financial lady that I told you about, so she's working this reconciliation. She also manages the expense management, but she manages for the whole company, right? So they either send Excel or they send PDF or they send some form. So she needs to check all of these formulas, scan the invoices, or they give her a hard copy, right? So she needs to check all of that. It's a very time-consuming stuff. Now we're implementing expense management without agents, right? We're doing any agents or anything like that. There are some OCRs capabilities, but very basic, nothing groundbreaking. So
Okay,
this
okay.
is, we have agreed even, let's say, 6 months ago. We're implementing that. But what is the goal of that? Is to outsource that form. So Martin is a person who did a business trip. He needs to
Okay.
submit his expenses. Instead of he just taking photos and sending everything to me and I input into the system, now it will be your responsibility, which is man down, to take the photo and submit it directly into the ERP system. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that is expensive.
Yeah.
What this agent will help you, instead of not killing, but it will easier. If you spend like 1 hour on this task, now that will be faster. You know what I mean? It will be
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
5 minutes. It will ease up your knowledge. It's tend to be instead of spending a lot of time, it will just be quicker. So I don't think in that case it will remove jobs, maybe, except if you have like 10 people who are just doing expense management for everyone else in a company, you know.
Yeah, so it will help basically to the finance lady in this case, she to focus really on the how it's called on the zeros, on the numbers there, and instead of
Yeah,
administration filling out, yeah, Martin travel, Laze travel, this guy travel, that guy, so she need to
she
fill all of
should have,
that.
yeah, exactly. Instead of manual work, she should focus more about, hey, has our expenses have drastically increased? How are they week over week or month over month or a year over year? Why are we spending so much on these expenses? What is my breakdown on expenses? Do we spend a lot on fuel? Do we win a new supplier? Do we
Yeah,
spend a lot of planes or on hotels or whatever is
whatever.
the
Yeah,
reason? So you can have these inputs and share it with the CFO and say, hey, this is going to be costly, or we should maybe cut down. Here's how we can, to make some educated
yeah.
decision instead of just guessing where is the money going
Yeah,
on,
and
if
now
that
I'm just
makes
thinking,
sense.
Cloud, with you, it will come again to the what you said. Basically, it will be mindset. Also, this lady, instead of doing more administration, she need to focus on the analysis, if I may call it that.
Of
Where,
course, of
like you
course.
said, how much we spent on the food, on the petrol, on the
Right.
I know hotels, travels, this, that, blah, blah, blah. So it's again here that basically we need to readjust a little bit. I mean, all of us to learn something new and do the stuff, if I may say like that, instead of manual jobs and press down, just typing something there, if I may say it like that.
Yeah, well,
Nice.
you have been in my world, for example. You remember how the development environments were working in FNO and how
Yeah.
painful that thing was, and security was never. So
Yeah.
those still exist, but there is a new thing, kid on the block, which is called Unified Development Experience. I don't know if you know what is that now. You're maybe out of this scope what you're
Yeah.
doing,
Yeah.
but it's technically a sandbox. It's a service, and there is no VMs. There is nothing. You have your own Visual Studio, and you develop directly to the cloud, right?
So something like code spaces, if I may say like that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And now it
Yeah.
is, you're developing directly like in a UAT. It's a smaller
Yeah.
environment,
Yeah. Yeah.
But you develop directly. It's compiled locally. It goes and it's very fast, very interactive. But here, you don't have to manage this stupid, so much time consuming of data restores levels and code reported and then security levels. So bad. Oh my God! It still exists. It's not gone yet.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
some clarity, but it will be gone. That is the goal. That to be missing. And sys admins, for example, they were, oh my God, we are going to be without job. No, guys, you're not. It's just that your job is now again adapting. So, but now that things, all of that, like LCS in Dynamics, you have been LCS is going to be dead soon,
Yeah.
hopefully. So everything is going to be in the Power Platform. But now I'm role like instead of creating these stupid environments and managing, which was very time consuming, you're going to present more in security, different roles, different security groups, provisioning, copy of the data between environments with
Yeah.
transactional copy, very cool information. So you copy only configurations and parameters without like sales orders. So
Yeah.
it is evolving. It's just evolving. It's not. It is different, but it's still there. It's not gone. We
Yeah.
have to
So
evolve if we want to go.
does
Yeah.
that mean that now this part will be connected with the Power Platform? Because I was working with Power Platform 2.5 years when I arrived here and all that stuff as a Power Platform developer. I know I learned a lot and all that stuff, blah blah blah, and I'm certified, la la la, and all that stuff. But it's quite easy, quite simple. If I need to make a distinguished dynamics or LCS, let's call it like that, Power Platform portal, sometimes I'm afraid to say, but even better, even from Azure portal. I must be honest. Simple, click, everything works,
Ding,
never
ding, ding,
stuck.
ding, ding, ding.
Yeah,
What,
yeah,
bing, bing, bonk.
yeah,
Well, yes, the goal is all of these dynamics, landscape, everything is moving to Power Platform. So PPAC is
yeah.
the
Okay.
center place. FNO is already there. So I'm in that private preview for 3 years.
Right.
The only thing that you cannot create is a production environment, but you can create like a
Uh-huh.
development directly in Power Platform, like in the Maker portal. You can create a sandbox like a UAT. You can create
Yep.
the pipe correlated with DevOps, with the pipelines, the release
Yeah, yeah.
cycles,
To connect.
all of the goodies that you probably understand much better than me. And but everything goes to that space. But also that Power Platform and that governance around the Power Platform has evolved drastically, man.
Indeed.
It has updated a lot. There is also so many users, so many companies, so such big companies. The money are also now big, so
Yeah.
people are
Indeed.
trying to improve there. How we can clean data, how we can archive data, how I can connect with Microsoft Fabric, but how much that will cost. So it's an interesting evolving story, right? In IT, it's never
Indeed.
boring. That's what
Yeah.
if you
Especially if
want
you want
to.
to learn all the time something new, so there is
It's
always a way and all that
uh,
stuff. Yeah, usually when I discuss with a couple of colleagues and all, Martin, but how do you follow all of these copilots, chat gpt, AI, Azure DevOps, security, Power Platform? How is that possible? Where do you follow this? Yeah, or what internet you're surfing? Very often is that type of a joke. But as you said, it's never boring if you want to follow. There is a lot of what I'm really happy. Yes, sometimes I'm overwhelmed with information. So I must be honest with
me
you
too.
now
Yeah,
completely. But I'm quite happy that everything, yeah, starting, yeah, we're the starting era of learning. You were struggling to find books, you were struggling to find PDF files
yeah.
to read informations, and we were complaining, yeah, we don't have this, we don't have that, it's too many CDs, this, that. Now we have everything open, yeah, but now it's overwhelmed. So I'm usually saying, yeah, let me not cry, because in the past was quite difficult to get this information, especially in your world, if I may be honest. You're struggling, books, this, that,
It
and I
was
can
very
imagine,
difficult.
yeah.
Now it
And
is.
for,
Now the community
yeah,
is better. I think also there's so many
indeed,
blogs. There's so many people that are really going to help you if you ask your question on a correct way. And provide information. There are people that will try to help you, right? Maybe
yeah,
someone cannot help you, of course. Maybe something is beyond repair, like stuff happened, but people are going to try to help you, and that's I really recognize that. I think the community is amazing in my world because it's much smaller. My world is, the dynamics FNO world is much smaller than yours. Yours is like it's a big, big, big world. But here we're much smaller, although it has grown significantly from the moment that I started, like from the period like 15 years ago, 16, 17 years ago, damn, 17 years ago from now. I'm too old, but it has significantly grew the community. I think even here locally. Um,
indeed. Indeed,
yeah,
indeed.
yeah.
Yeah, Igor is watching, so he will knows to put some comments. So greetings from our country, indeed, and greetings to our Macedonian country, indeed.
Hi, Igor.
Thank you, Igor. Indeed, and yeah, looking at all of these informations, knowledge, and all the stuff, and you said your community is quite smaller. So, but I would say you are guys very wonderful people. I discussed with a couple of people already, to be honest, and I really appreciate. And you have been in a big struggle in the past. That is my
Mm.
conclusion, and how everything went. And I know people also, yeah, quite older than us. Yeah, I'm working Dynamics. Yeah, where did you work on Dynamics? I mean, it was MS DOS in the past.
Yeah,
There was no Dynamics.
yeah,
So that is this
yeah.
type of jokes. But you're wonderful people from Dynamics world, if I may call it that. Power Platform, Fabric. You're
There.
all supporting yourself, and I think the struggle between all of that big product, sometimes it's even tough to know everything, so it's
No,
impossible
it's not.
even
It's
sometimes.
impossible. It's impossible. It's a very
Indeed.
big. Well, in any technology, I think it's impossible. It's more about understanding different kind of levels that are coming, understanding the customer and business needs.
Yeah.
Customers also sometimes someone will oversell either a product or technology architecture. Oh, we can do this. It's not a problem with a couple of clicks. You know how it is, and or they will come. too arrogant sometimes. Say we're going to do this way when you just need a Power Automate, mate. We're just going to create one Power Automate. Everything is going to create. You don't even need an AI. There are experiences where you're going to need it. Uh, but I'm, I think, a little bit lucky. So I'm an external for my customer. I worked almost 7 years now for them. So
Whoa.
wow, yeah, I did move around in the organization, moved a lot with
Yeah.
couple of roles, and now started to do a lot of stuff. I even started to manage now the Azure part for the whole corporation. Well, which is not where I'm suited well, but I do have a lot of people that support me there. That
Yeah.
is not my specialty, more management. But my background is always Dynamics. It's always this Fabric and Microsoft. I have so many amazing people around me that help me out to achieve these goals. That is what's important. And I tried because the customer is big. It's a good client for Microsoft. So
Yeah.
and I tried to were able to reach to some people in product group, like to develop stuff that are not even announced, like very difficult in private preview. And I tested it. It was very cool. I think it provided a value. It provided also what a very good, very important gentleman actually from product group from Microsoft told me 2 weeks ago is actually, we did an amazing job for your client. We did a very good job, not only for that, we did it also for our product because for what we improved a lot in the product and we saved a lot
Yeah.
of money for Microsoft on the end,
Nice.
because we did a lot of work. So we provided them with a lot of information and data. They were there to accept it, to analyze it. With one single update, they have improved performance worldwide 20%. And you know what that
Whoa.
means? That means not only performance, but when you're in the SaaS world, you know what Martin means? That means compute, right? And what compute means? Compute means money, right?
Money.
You have technically saved yourself a
Indeed.
lot, and it's a large compute around the world, so it aggregates quite a lot. So those kind of challenges are very, very interesting to me. And I challenge myself. It's not that someone is challenging me. If you don't
Yeah.
challenge yourself, I know you
True.
have done so many trainings, so such a lot around the world now. I don't know even where are you going. Are you running from place to place, or you're flying, or you're still you're doing so many things, man. So
Yeah.
I cannot catch up with you.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. Well, as we said, it's sometimes everything here, and you want to achieve all of that. Sometimes you feel
Mhm.
overwhelmed, but I'm quite happy to see, all of those communities and all that stuff that, when you get support, sometimes in this type of a thing, when you have a lot of things and you want to achieve a lot of things, if I may call it like that, even one word, anyone that will say you're doing a good job, it makes you happy and you don't ignore everything else.
I
And
did.
also the
Yeah,
rest.
it's like a
Yeah,
booster, right?
indeed,
It's such a
indeed.
boost. I felt it today. I felt it today. We helped from customer from Ireland, and they, hey guys, don't worry, we are going to help you out. So we have sorted this. We just need one more thing. Schedule the call for tomorrow, and I promise you, from next week we are going to work and we are going to resolve this, and you don't have to think about it. It will be automatically. This is how it's going to look.
True.
And they were very like full with enthusiasm. It's not in the technology at that level, right? It's resolving their business needs. And so this is a company that needs to prove the value not to management but to their customers. If they don't prove it to their customers, competition is going to eat them, and there are 200 people left out of the search, right? They are not going to work. So it's really, on the end, it's about for the people who are working there to keep their job, to try to improve themselves, and
Yeah.
personally and on a business level to adapt the business. Many people are, as you said, scared with the
Yeah.
AI
Yeah.
is going
Yeah.
to replace them. It's only if you want it to replace. It's not the AI. It's just
True.
life is going to replace you. It's
True.
life. If you do not adapt, that's it. That's it. Yeah,
True.
it will be
That's
difficult.
true. Indeed. And it's quite, yeah, it's quite complex. But usually, what I'm saying, if you focus on one topic, sometimes either it's agents now, the most famous word, AI and agents. If you understand the agents, I don't know, Office 365 agents, Dynamics agents, Power Platform agents, Azure agents, I don't know, whatever there it is. If you focus on one thing, even, small thing, and, when I hear this from people, how to say, in the 21st century, if I may call it like that, yeah, AI will change this and that. I'm usually in a fight with some people around about that topic. I really hate that when the people will come. Yeah, AI will move us and we will not have a work. Yeah, yeah,
No.
yeah. It's okay if you don't want to learn just this, just this 3 centimeters knowledge additional, then you will be kicked out for sure. But if you learn this 3%, you will stay here and you will learn some new things. You will work still. I don't know.
Yeah. I like that. It's like 3%, but it's over top. It's not 3% and you're done. It's next day. It's again. It's 1%, 0.1%. You have to just adapt. I
True.
I will tell you a real life example. So I have my client, that person. It's in a company in Europe.
Yeah.
Very satisfied when I arrived. It was in a bad shape, issues and stuff like that. We
Yeah.
stabilized them after a while, innovate, improve new modules, new technologies, improve the business, right?
Yeah.
Improve the
Yeah.
business value. And by the way, with the same capacity that we use, same level, like same licenses, you just more adoption. Hey, you have also this. Why don't you
Use.
use it, right? Just use it. We need to set it up. We need to educate ourselves, but let's try to use it. Now, in the same country, there's another legal entity which are part of the same corporation. They're doing different business, right? They're doing totally different business, but technically they're same management on the top level and stuff. So they're on another ERP which is on premise, very old now, already outdated,
Okay.
but it's also managed locally. It's not on the Dynamics platform; it's another platform. And they were very interested. Like, hey guys, we're always suffering. Right? We did some online session, a lot of estimation stuff. We are really suffering. We can't provide business. We do so many actions. So we created a plan. It was me and one more guy. This was before New Year, maybe even like September, October. We did a full week organized through. And what we did is sit that down and just waited so they can show us how they do their business process, like daily activities, what they do, right?
Okay.
So they're doing like an MRP. What is usually very important in every ERP is like this called master planning, where you create your purchase orders, you create your production orders, depends on what is
Yeah.
your business, your planning orders, everything that is calculating in the background, right? So years back, that even in Dynamics took like 3 to 6 hours during the night, depending on the data that you have. It's just a
Yeah.
very heavy process. But I worked with Microsoft from Copenhagen. They created that in Copenhagen on a microservice architecture. Now it takes 10 seconds because
Okay.
all of the data is processed outside Dynamics in on Azure scales up to the maximum, process everything, push it back to Dynamics, and it's done. So you can run it fully all the time, and the ERP doesn't feel it anything because it's not executed in the system, right? So it's amazing.
It's outside, indeed.
Yeah. So I went, and these guys they're showing us. So this is not connected with AI, but how much time, like 10, 15 years, they have not adopted. So what they're doing is they're showing us how they do manual ERP because their ERP is not even supporting it, right? So they're exporting all of this data to Excel, different roles. So your purchasing manager, your this manager, role manager, they're exporting through Excel, to Outlook, to PDF, to all kind. 4 employees, they work four FTAs. So 4 employees, they work 4 full days just to create this functionality. They copy data, they merge data, they check it. Now you need to check the calculation. Okay, they merge it. They calculate on the end. They have meetings. Okay, this looks good. They approve it and they move it back to the ERP. So you see, you create. So we sit there, and now because we are coming with their sister company, which has already implemented this. And they ask us, okay, now tell us how you do it in Dynamics. And I come and I just click a button and say, and now they say what? Now it's done. What is done? Here it is. All of your purchase order, all your print orders. It took us 15 seconds. All of your prices, everything is updated. Emails sorted. Their mind exploded, right? Their mind is like, oh my God, are my people going to be out of work now? And it's not. I don't think they should be out. But instead of doing this manual task, which is not now connected with AI, right? Instead of these manual tasks, they can concentrate and find better prices for you. They can find more customers. They can explore those kind of opportunities instead of copying Excels all day.
True. They can focus on the more important things, if I may call it.
Which is the business, right? Your business is not copying Excel. Your business is not calculation in Excel, right? Your business is to serve your customers. and to show
True.
value for them, to be more competitive on the market. That's it,
True.
nothing else.
That's indeed, indeed. And on your side, yeah, for people that never work dynamics, it have a lot of how it says manual processes that, and what Laza now is saying, I really understand, and how fast that can be sometimes, but also how slow depends on this data, of
Sure,
course,
sure.
and all that stuff. So that's the most important thing. I mean, and usually because it's a quite complex ERP system and it's quite difficult also sometimes, those people always need to be there, just for increasing their knowledge on some other or next
Completely.
level, if I may say like that. Yeah, the system now it's fast, quite fast, but let's now focus on the next level. What you guys, I don't know, functional
So
consultant, business consultant, this, that, and all that
yes,
stuff, all those roles, if I may call like that. You now focus on that, and let's leave the system there to do his job, if I may
well,
call it that. And then that's why it's a
exactly.
system, it's a system
That,
machine to do the stuff.
yeah, what you say is very good wrap up of that issue, because you say it's much faster, it's much easier. So you have outsourced these calculations to the system. It's easier for the system, but the system at the current levels and most of the system, right? But now that are without AI, they don't think. So you have created this code, you have created these business rules. It is just faster. It's making it easier. The data is not going outside, so you have your better
True.
security. You're more compliant, for auditing as well. You told it multiple times. It's much faster, but it's very strict what the system will do. It will not do something creative. It's not going to say,
Yeah.
"Oh, this data doesn't look correct for
Yeah.
me." If you put shit data, it will produce a shit value, right? It will always
Yeah.
produce something that is not good. And now that is the next, let's say, lift and shift functionality, which now the AI and the LLM models will try to understand that. It will try to, or to recommend you, hey, this looks, yesterday I opened an Excel, it says, hey, this Excel that was generated from some colleague or I has multiple times this value, something is case sensitive, sometimes is not, some you have empty space. Do you want me to change it? Yeah, sure. It fixed it up, Michael. Well, see, it did not replace me. It just aggregated
Yeah.
some of this
True.
information to be better, to be more streamlined in naming conventions and stuff like that.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. It's going on that direction. Let's see how it will end at the end of the day, if I may say like that. But I think we both agree that it's not about changing people, but basically the people to
No,
focus to learn something else or to improve their self. And yeah, I hope a lot of people will want to change, to improve their self and to learn something new, because otherwise, yeah, even me and Lazi, if we don't learn the stuff, we can lose our job and we can stay at home and
for sure,
complain about the
for
AI, the
sure.
agents, and I don't know, the Power Platform. We can complain for Fabric. We
Yeah,
can complain. We can complain, for everything and all that stuff. So it's a mindset switch of mindset, and just to start learning some new things.
and
And there is
one
a lot of new things, if and free. At the end of the day, it's free, Lazi. I think that's
for,
the
for now, we're still in the S curve. We're still in the debt curve, so you can try stuff. So better use that possibility, because otherwise it will be much difficult to enter. I remember now 2016 when I started. It was the first Cloud Dynamics version,
yeah.
and I was in Germany at a client with one very good expert together with me. We visited by accident. We met another guy that we know, very good expert,
Okay.
but from on-premise level. And we told him, hey, we're working cloud now. It's in the SaaS. We're only doing that. We're very focused on that. He told us, oh my God, you are quitters. You, that is so bad. Is how do you say it? You are, oh my God. You should not do that. The on-premise is much better. You don't have any control. You sell your souls and stuff like that. It was very, very weird thing, to be
Yeah.
truly honest. And I think that some of those mentalities now also like adopted. Oh, you're going into this AI, you're seller, what do you do? We implement things are always going to adapt. That even happened with
Indeed.
electric cars when they started to show,
Indeed.
it's still happening.
True.
So
True.
people
For
are
me, it was
difficult.
for Azure, I think, and there was two quite experienced guys and first day training, and usually that was period when the people, yeah, it was a lot of how to say adoption, if I may call it that, that people
Yeah,
want to
adoption.
learn.
Yeah.
And did from 15 people, you have two people. They were quite experienced, but I mean, Windows servers, Hyper-V, and let's introduce ourselves on Microsoft. That was a training I was giving there. And two guys, Martin, iron is iron.
Yes, yes, that is the level. See, it's the same with that. I want it to be here. He says, I want it to be here, and he touches the server next to me, the data.
It was two people, and then I said, okay, let's discuss this separately because we will demotivate the other student. And then the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
guy
of
next
course.
to me, I agree with him. Iron, it's iron. And I said, okay, you guys go make barbecue somewhere.
Yeah, go. I had the similar. So one of the trainings. So I did not tell you, but I was a trainer for Microsoft for a very long time, like
Okay.
external.
Yeah.
2016 February. I remember before announcing. So it was in the technical conference in Seattle. They was about to announce the cloud version, in front of everyone. And we arrived there like a week before that. So we arrived before that. Microsoft brings us from all around the world. We did interviews before, contracts and all of that. So we arrived there, and we have contractual stuff happening, but also training. So here is, guy, what's happening. Here is the access that you need. So here are the materials. Go talk to each other. Do all of this, and then you're going to do the all of the trainings. And it was mind blowing. At that stage, it was very, very interesting. So we started these trainings, but I was very focused at this on the first level, like a development training, because the whole experience was very difficult from the on-premise.
Yeah,
The whole
indeed.
experience was very difficult. So let's test. But from the experience that we showed them on the field, they say, "Hey, we have other problems." So this is, of course, there's a learning curve. We have to adapt, but we have other stuff. Like people don't want to go to cloud. So then we reevaluate some stuff, and we call this training another training, which was called the LCS implementation. What is like, how do you do the implementation? The LCS portal is one of the story. How you connect it with Azure. You have seen
With
this
the
stuff.
subscription and all that stuff. Yeah.
But one of the biggest breaches, Martin, there was, it's interesting. Is my data secured in the cloud? Like how is my data secured in the cloud? How we're going to convince these people? And it was so funny because, like you say, iron is iron. I want it next to me. Here are my servers. I've invested so much money into them. They're next to me. But how do you do disaster recovery? How safe someone will come there? And like the data centers, and this is not only for Microsoft, like the global big data centers, they're so secure. Like physically, even virtually, they're so secure. There are literally people with guns sitting outside. Even their locations are not known. They're very grayed out. You cannot go out even if there is a disaster recovery. If something happens in this region, automatically it's copied to different continent if you want. Another location. But just to process that mentality is very, very, very difficult. Especially like, oh my God, German people. There are so many people that decide in Germany that go Dynamics Cloud, but on premise there was called how is it called, LBD, like local business data. So you can still install the whole Azure fabric into your own servers and manage Dynamics. Can you imagine how complex is that? Like you have the full Azure stack, and then to install an ERP. And now after so many years, they decided, you know what? Hey, we should just move to the cloud. In their projects, like
that's good.
I think, yes. Oh my God!
Indeed,
So
the Germans are a little bit crazy, and I have seen also for deploying some stuff for testing for myself. For example, after this I will share the link. I think I have somewhere here. I was searching something a couple of months ago. There is a people, they created their own business with servers in a big garage, and basically they sell for you. For example, if you want to deploy application, .NET application, these CPUs, this and that, German data center. And I was planning to go just to take a picture. There is a video on YouTube from the guy.
Oh my God!
Then I sit on the Azure calculator and I see the German calculator from this guy. 30% less, I must be honest with you. And you can hear immediately it's starting the cluster. It can be deployed, this and that. I said, these Germans are really weird people sometimes. There is so many clouds, but no, the data was not protected. Okay, I said.
Yes,
Quite interesting.
but they even created like a data center in Germany now. I think there is like a data center
Yeah,
specific, which the data is
it
not going outside of Germany.
yeah, and I think 2 years ago there was when Azure Active Directory in that period was not working, only Germany North. I remember like yesterday we were at work and then nobody can authenticate, and then you open the Azure map where it's red, everything red, Germany North green. And I said, yeah, next time we will deploy everything to Germany North. Now we
Because
know the data center.
they're not connected to anything, right? They're
Indeed,
on their
indeed,
own.
indeed. So they were only green one. Imagine from all the data center worldwide, Germany North green. Like in the middle and all that stuff. It was quite how to say surprising, but then you figure it out. Yeah, why these people doing this? Why these people complaining? But they're a little bit, for some things, they're really weird and have crazy ideas sometimes, if I may be honest.
They're
But that's from
overprotective.
experience.
A
From
little bit
experience. That's from experience, I would say.
Yeah, world is
Indeed.
changing constantly, but it is interesting,
Indeed.
right?
Oh, yes. We're talking already 1 hour and 10 minutes. And it's already late. I don't want to take your time more. I have one more question for you, my friend. It was really nice and enjoying with you. I think we can talk till
Yeah, thank you,
tomorrow.
Martin.
That's the first thing. My last question for you. If you need to choose now, Dynamics Power Platform or Fabric, what will be?
Oh my God, come on. I'm doing all three of them. I'm not going to choose, but it will be dynamic. I'm still the
Okay.
dynamic person, right?
Okay,
I'm
that's a
still,
good
that is
answer.
in my,
Indeed.
it is still my
In
person. I utilize the Power Platform very heavily. Okay, so let's
yeah,
be truly honest. Back when we were doing it, there was a lot of development. Like projects will go and there is a lot of customization and development work. That mindset has started to change so many because the product grew. Now there's so many
yeah,
more features, but also because the product now is so many tight connectors. So every FNO has a directly paired database environment. So you have CRM out of the box. You use it or not, you have it. It's there. It's connected. So you can do some of the stuff in this low code, no code mentality much easier and
indeed.
much quicker without developing in an FNO. Some integration purposes,
Yeah,
the data is already exposed, like through virtual entities. So I try to utilize it first. We try to learn, hey, wait, should we do this actually first? And can we do it maybe on an easier way? Can we do it outside instead of like overcomplicating the system and then to have like running costs, operating costs. You need to maintain the functionality because something will change. So yeah, I use, and Fabric is I'm it's one of the best technologies Microsoft released. I'm telling you,
yeah,
it's better than Azure. Okay,
yeah,
but it ran out of it's one of the biggest investment that Microsoft did. That community, I don't know if you have talked to them, they're so good. Their new release that they did last week in Vegas is like 200 pages long. Just cannot imagine. It's just so big, and it's the biggest investment after 25 years in SQL Server. It's the first product in that domain, right?
wow, wow,
It's like a
indeed.
SaaS. It supports so many
Yeah,
scenarios, and
yeah.
it's very interesting.
In January I started with the Fabric, and in May I already
Yeah,
booked my exam, by the way. And now I'm practicing about Fabric with Custo. There is
with
some,
custom. Yeah.
yeah, with Custo. So a little bit, connection, how that works to connect the table. Basically, Custo is not SQL, but the
Mm.
connections and to define, all that execution is quite similar. So it helps me to learn all of that stuff because I don't have the real data. Let's be honest. So on the Custo, you can import data. They give you the data, so you can play around, do this, do that, and all this stuff. And I have a license in it, so it's quite interesting and it's quite challenging. And
So
now, what you
there's
said now, it's really satisfying me. To be honest, the biggest investment, if I may say like that, which means
it
that
is
it
very
will,
very very very
indeed,
big,
it will
very big.
be a really a big topic in
There
the
is
next 10,
one.
15 years for sure.
Yeah, the real time intelligence you should write in Fabric, which you can query with Custo. It's there is a called
Yeah.
like event warehouse which you can use, and there is also demo data on GitHub which you can import. Like
Okay.
especially like if you're in Netherlands and it shows you
Yeah.
10,000 or 20,000 spots or bikes, like renting bikes, where are
Okay.
they're sending this every couple of seconds. They're sending this data. That data comes in real time intelligence. You receive it in Fabric into warehouse with Custo. You query it, you create a map, and in real time map it shows you. I saw this live demo from scratch created by Scott Sewell,
Yeah.
who is one of the best guys. I have a session with him in Dynamics Minds in 1 month. I'm very excited about that. So it's very, very, very cool product. Just keep on rocking, man. You're doing an amazing job.
Yep, indeed. And let's see, in May, we will see that. I will share on LinkedIn, let's see. But I still need some practical side. So I'm trying also with these Microsoft trainings that I have access to some of them. So I'm trying just to get, because it's quite new, let's be honest. I mean, there is not so many material, if I may call it that, where you can gain a lot of knowledge. It have, but it's not so deep dive where technically you can really go there like labs, if I may call it like that. Because I saw the labs are also still, some of them have some issues, this and that. It needs to have some improvement, but I think easier till end of this year for sure.
Some of the labs are maybe outdated because the team moves so fast in that product. It's just
true.
What yesterday was true now. They are already to the third layer. You know, they move so fast.
Indeed. Thank you a lot.
Hey,
thank you a lot for this
evening.
We will see each other soon for sure. I was really enjoying, and thank you for sharing your experience with Dynamics, mate. I know you're traveling a lot, and I think I saw a couple of today or yesterday. I saw that you're talking with some lady from Microsoft somewhere. I'm not sure where.
Yes. So I will be here. So this month I'm going to Color Cloud in Hamburg. I will presenting something like dual write dynamics and that. In May, I'm going to the Dynamics Minds conference in Portorož in Slovenia. You should come.
Oh, nice. That's a nice one. I remember last year was quite interesting.
So I'm part of the committee, of the program committee there, which we're choosing sessions and who will present. It's 1,000 people on the beach. So it is just 3-day event. I have 5 sessions this year, which it is a little bit challenging. 2 of them are with Microsoft Program Manager. So one is for Fabric with the Program Manager from Fabric, Scott. The other one is for Genie from Microsoft, which is BPA. It's another Dynamics application. Very cool, which is connected with reporting. I have with some other MVP. It's very interesting. And with the other one was with another third Microsoft guy about dual write. I try to give them feedback, before they release something, and that's why I get involved sometimes. And I love these people; they're very passionate. There are many people, big companies, Microsoft. They have a lot of people, but the people that they stay and do this kind of release these products. It's not. I assume in Azure as well because I don't follow, but. There are many passionate people. They understand a lot of the technology. They do care about what is going to be released, how it's going to be done, and that's something that I really, really like.
True. So now, after listening all of this, I think you should put in the CV Master of Disaster for Dynamics Power Platform. Soon Fabric.
Soon Fabric. And my photo in one page. There will be one page only with that.
That's it. Only the title, your picture, CV sent. That's it. I mean, good job done. You don't need to do interview and all that stuff. Mate, thank you a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for this, that you accept the invitation. We will see each other soon. We will stay in touch. And thanks all for watching. And have a nice evening all.
Thank you, Martin. Please reach out when you come to Macedonia. Bye-bye.
Yeah, indeed. Bye-bye.